Welcome to the Ladies Talk Show. This is your host, Leah Richheimer. We are on Chapter 10, Anger Management. I hope from last week to this week, you are a new human being, understanding how much of a role anger or lack thereof, or pulling it, sucking it out of your home, how much it improves the atmosphere and the closeness in the home. So, okay, we are on we're in Chapter 10, page 240, and we're starting with anger mastery. We start by understanding one very crucial distinction. Feeling angry is a normal part of being human, but the heart of the challenge before us is when we feel angry, can we refrain from acting angry? That is the mark of a true master, and that is our ultimate goal. As you read, keep in mind that this section on anger is one of the most challenging yet. The purpose of this chapter is not to make you become perfect overnight. It's to have you understand how valuable it is to work on anger mastery. If that's all you learn here, that will be an accomplishment. If you also get to understand your anger triggers a bit better as well, terrific. Anger mastery is a slow-going process, so cut yourself a lot of slack. In the name of clarity, the correct or incorrect behavior is explained here, but the gap between where we are and where we think we should be can make us feel terrible. It would be quite easy to fall into the trap of berating yourself or feeling like a failure or feeling overwhelmed at the challenge. I will be personally upset with you if you feel badly about yourself after reading this. If nothing comes of this, but that at the end of the chapter you sigh, that is valuable. And if you are even a tiny fraction better after a year of work, that is something of which to be proud. We are only trying to head in the right direction, and that is all Hashem wants from us. As you grow in this area, feeling a twinge of sadness at how you currently handle your anger is helpful to motivate you to change. But if you find yourself constantly admonishing yourself at your lack of anger management skills, keep this in mind, this beautiful lesson. Rabbi Shimon ben Lakish teaches that when a person turns himself around, regrets his past, and does good, that is such a powerful act that his sins become merits. Work on your character, but not so much that you make yourself feel badly. Build yourself up by understanding that only great people work to improve. Anger is the enemy. We're going to start by taking a look at our Masorah tradition, and it is quite clear anger is the enemy. But rather than taking these lessons to make yourself feel badly about past behavior, use them to bolster yourself in your determination to grow in your own anger management skills, slowly over time. The Gemara tells us that one who becomes angry gains only his anger, meaning that he gains nothing. Another Gemara states, one who becomes angry, it is as if he practices avodah zarah, idol worship. Rabbi Shlomo Gansfried teaches us that anger is a very evil trait and it should be avoided at all costs. You should train yourself not to become angry, even if you have a good reason to be angry. Rav Nachum of Breslov teaches us that anger stops the flow of money toward you. On a spiritual and practical level, when we lash out in anger, money that was on its way to us will now be derailed and go somewhere else. Rabbah, son of Rav Huna, said, he who loses his temper, even the divine presence is unimportant in his eyes. Yikes. The Talmud further warns, anger will cause a sage to lose his wisdom and a person who is destined for greatness to forfeit it. These are frightening warnings, but if we redouble our efforts, we can succeed. This is a challenge we can overcome with enough determination and effort, but hopefully these warnings will help to strengthen our resolve to learn better ways to handle our anger. The main problem is that anger causes everything we say to come across harsher than it has to be. It puts the other person on the defensive, making him much less likely to agree with us and for things to go well. Showing anger is what keeps us from fulfilling our potential in life and from having the intimacy we have always wanted in our marriage. Does shouting motivate others? This is the figure. So it's like, but I barely clean the room if I yell at them. Okay, does shouting motivate others? Regarding anger being an effective way to get people moving and thereby getting things done, it may seem to work in the short term. However, in the long run, the resentment it causes and the loss of closeness makes it a doomed strategy. Further, people may appear like they are complying, but they often sabotage their efforts in retaliation for being treated poorly. The main point is just remember that for every battle won in anger, we make those around us feel less and less close to us. The road to anger mastery is mostly one of trial and error. Everyone is different, and you must learn what motivates you to work on this, as well as which methodologies are most effective for you to give you, given your history, personality, and temperament. Further, as you get better at the smaller challenges, Hashem may give you bigger ones. Such is the nature of becoming an expert and maximizing your own potential and in drawing your husband closer to you. You may be great at controlling your anger or very poor at it, but wherever you are holding, working on your level and growing it will draw your husband closer to you. And also, there's one powerful side benefit to working on your issue. It will not only improve your relationship with your husband, it will also improve your relationship with Hashem. Rav Chaim Friedlander comments on a letter from the Stipler that you see that the middos that are needed for the relationship in a marriage are the same ones that are necessary for the relationship with Hashem. We are fortunate that God has instructed us so clearly that in order to connect deeply with our husband, we must begin to overcome our habit of acting out of anger. Remember, feeling angry is human. Acting angry is the root of all distance in marriage. Over time, our homes need to be made safe again. Okay, Gila, what you got for me?
Okay, so Ruti asks, I'm shouting less, but I don't feel the resentment going down. What's more important to work on, my resentment or my shouting?
Beautiful question. This is an age-old Musser question. Where's Rev Cilantro when we need him? Okay. So the question of do you take the action or do you feel it internally and work yourself up? And the answer is both. But always the action is going to carry the day. So if you, this is just a little side thing, whatever, if you in the middle of the, you're feeling lousy and you had a miserable dream and you're not doing well and whatever, do yourself a favor. Smile. Like smile as big as you can. Put the edges of your mouth up and create a smile. You're lying on your pillow, you're half asleep, whatever, just smile. You will feel an enormous, this is not from Leah Richheimer's great advice, okay? This is Chazal. You will feel an enormous shift in who you are and how you're feeling or whatever, and what's going on with you mentally, emotionally, spiritually, in every single way. So we know that actions create our internal reality. And so for you, keep it up. You will find that the more your actions comply with what your neshama is training your goof in this, okay? Your body, your soul is training your body in how to behave in a way that is going to bring more holiness in your home and more closeness in your home. So keep up the good work, reward the goof, give yourself chocolate or mint chocolate chip ice cream. Yes, whatever, something good, go to a nail salon, whatever is a wonderful treat for your body. Either going for a run, listening to music, going shopping, something. Give yourself a reward for the hard work that your goof is doing in answer to what your soul is telling it to do. So the answer to your question is definitely keep your actions going. And believe it or not, your internal anger and your angst and your resentment, whatever, will decrease naturally over time. If you do introspection and try and work on it, it'll do it even better, even faster. If you see somebody else who had every right to scream at somebody and they say, okay, yes, okay, it's fine. And you see somebody control it, that will give you strength. Take from that strength. Take from the lessons of people around you who have mastered this. And it's a beautiful question. I'm proud of you for taking the actions and keep up the good work. Okay, very good. What you got for me, Gila?
Okay, so Shayna asks, I'm working on my anger, and my husband knows this, and he tries to test me to see how I'll respond. It makes me want to yell even more. I don't know what test me means. I'm curious.
Like,
is he teasing her? Is he
ah.
trying to tip her over the edge?
I mean, if that's done with humor, I can hear it, but anything other than that, it seems like not very supportive. So, okay. So I don't mean to lashon hara about your husband or whatever, but I'm just saying that it has to be handled very, very delicately because it doesn't seem like has a lot of forethought in his action. It's his kind of like ribbing or whatever. Maybe that's his personality. Maybe you tease each other all the time. I don't know. I don't know how the whole situation, but I'm
also wondering if it was their dynamic before and now she changed and now their dynamic is kind of still there.
Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, that definitely could be there. So what I would do is I would have a conversation with him if you can, and just tell him that, when you're really working on this and it feels like undermining, is there what can you do differently? Or maybe you say, maybe we can keep it the same way. If you explain to me, are you doing it out of humor? Are you doing it out of anger? Is it a rage that's making you do that? Is it you're competing with me? You don't want me to be a better person? What's going on here? Maybe if I understand it, we can just keep things the same and you have to change your actions. My feeling is that no matter what you're feeling, it hurts my growth to do that. So is there something we can brainstorm about, come up with alternate solutions? Like, maybe when you're sitting there, you're thinking that oh yeah, you're really working on your anger, that you could say something like nah 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 nah, nah. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how to handle, because there's too many details I don't know about the situation. But the bottom line is that having a conversation with him, understanding where he's coming from, having him understand where your feelings are, how you're feeling in that moment, and coming and brainstorming another solution, and then making a plan. How are we going to implement this? That's your go-to at this point. It's a very good question, and you should be proud of yourself for the work that you're doing. Again, we always have to think about the fact that no matter what comes to us, like we blame our husband, your husband is doing this thing in some way. God is testing you in some way. He's just the puppet who is working through God to have you learn something. Yes, he needs to change or grow, or you need to have a conversation about it, but you shouldn't have this deep anger at your husband for behaving the way he did, because this is way above my pay grade. But there's stuff that's going on. Your husband's both has his independent choices, but he also is a emissary of Hashem. So it's both. And for some reason, you needed to hear that, or you needed to be working on this and be tripped up constantly. We don't know why. So don't come with your husband with this as a how could you do this? No, this is meant to be. But that doesn't mean you can't do your hishtadlus, your efforts to make it better. Good luck to you. Hashem should bench you with kayak for that. It's beautiful, beautiful work. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so Tehila asks, I find it so hard defending my husband when he acts in an angry way. I know from your book that I need to support him no matter what, and the children need to see us unified. But isn't that teaching them that it's okay to be angry, as mommy doesn't even see the problem with it?
Very good question. Here's what I think would work for your situation. Not positive. I'm going to try this out on you. Is that I think that question that you just wrote to me, write to your husband and say, I am working so hard to be, to follow your lead and to do, so that we can be a unified front for the kids, and so that you can feel totally, thoroughly supported by me. It's hard work, I'll tell you, because I was raised to be an independent businesswoman and to do my own thing and to have control. And with the whole society saying being in control is it. Giving up that control and giving it to you is hard for me. It's a challenge already as it is. I really want to succeed at it, but when you get angry, it undermines it. So what do you think? Now, again, for those of you in the podcast, audio podcast, I'm taking my hand, I'm making it a bowl, and I'm handing the problem to the husband and saying, what do you think we can do to solve this problem? And then brainstorm it. It's not an easy thing, but it could be done through in a letter. It could be done in the conversation. Again, not when you're in the heat of the battle, not when you're on the soccer field or the football field, not in the middle of the fight, or the middle of the battle, or when it's happening, but outside of that, when you're having, you're both well rested and well fed or whatever, and you can have a healthy, strong communication. Now, some of my students have really great communication with their husband. They're honest with them about certain things. Some things, you don't have to be honest about everything. You shouldn't have to talk about old relationships with other people. I don't mean to spill your guts, but I mean, you can really have a good conversation about this is how I felt, this is what I was doing, this is what was going on through my mind, and I understand how you feel, but this is how I felt. Some couples have really good communication, and some couples just don't. It's like two ships, she brings something up and he flies off the handle, and he tells her something, she flies up. They don't have. So if you are one of those people who does not have a good track record of successful communication, communication, you need to do a couple of things. A, you need to get books or classes or whatever. I actually have a communication mastery class. This wasn't a sales pitch, but now it is. I don't get money from it. It all goes to marriage education, so I can pitch it all I want. But anyway, I do have a communications class online that you can go on at www.ladiestalkshow.com. So you could take the community, but you or read books on communication, or talk to somebody, or somebody who you know who's really good at communication. Say, can you tutor me in communication and how to have good conversations with my husband? You need to become an expert. I always talk about this. It drives me crazy. In school, people learn reading, writing, and arithmetic. The most important thing that they could ever learn was good communication skills. Why isn't that like on the chart of anything? Anyway, whatever. Like I really need calculus in my daily life. Maybe I do, maybe whatever. But anyway, the point is that you need to become people who don't have good communication need to bump up their communication level, because this kind of a problem with the right kind of communication can be solved. So that would be my first go-to to answer your question, is get some more communication skills and figure out how you're going to say it to your husband. Actually, we have a whole chapter on communication. Can you see that? Let's see. We have a whole chapter on communication that talks about how to say it. HOT, how to say it, the outcome desired, and T, the timing. And there's, a whole series of understanding of how to communicate better. But that would be my go-to for you. Excellent. Okay, what you got?
Okay, last question. I feel like I'm good. I'm really getting better at not saying anything in the moment. What I find really hard is not letting it show through my facial expressions. It seems pointless working on my words if I'm rolling my eyes, but I need to channel it somewhere.
What's wrong with saying, yeah, so, oh, good question, husband. Oh, hold on, I just need to check this while I'm giving you the yeah, that might be what you're doing for a while. Or you could
Wait, explain what you just did.
Oh yeah, for the people in the podcast, I turned my whole back to the to the audience. I showed the back of my head. Yeah, very good. The other thing is, if you really can't work on that, then put a mask on. Where's my mask from COVID days? Although they're again, hello, but anyways, whatever. Put a mask on maybe, but then the eyes is going to be your telltale thing.
Anyways, I think she means the general energy, the steam coming out of her ears.
Yeah, I hear. I think probably the most potent thing you could do is to actually tell your husband and say, I'm working so hard on my anger, and it's like I have these habits from 25 years or 35 years or 45 years or 55 years. I have these ingrained habits that I've had for so many years, of rolling my eyes and of my language. I'm working on the languaging, and I'm getting better at it. And I'm getting better also at the internal feeling of not feeling so much anger in my life. I can't keep it off my face. I'm going to work on it. Just know that I'm working on it, and that and that what I need from you, dear sweet husband, is I need you not to react to what I say, not what my face says, for a while. And also, if you pointed out, oh, I know that you're working on your face is showing how you really feel. If you did that, it would set me back. So just ignore my facial expressions. So maybe that would work for you. You'd have to be able to trust your husband not to say something or make you feel badly afterwards. But yeah, a mask. I think a mask, or all the time run out of the room. Run out of the room. I had somebody who really, really had anger issues, and her husband thought she was ill or something because she kept running to the bathroom. I think we need to get you checked out. Something with your bladder. Whatever, because she kept running out of the room as her thing. And she finally did tell him, but yeah. So anyway, it's something to work on. You got what to work on. And I'm proud of you for working on it. We should all feel proud of us. It's hard work, this anger thing. The good news is that we have a guarantee from Hashem that if we conquer our anger or get better, we may not conquer it. We may like always be on the ladder, but at least we're going up. We're not going down but if you are going up the ladder, you have a guarantee from Hashem that is going to bring more bracha, more blessings into your home, more money, more serenity, more chicken, more, health, things don't break. Everything seems to fall into place. You have these beautiful sunny days, and you can appreciate your life, and there's gratitude. The blessing is in every aspect of our lives. Whatever you would, if I gave you a piece of paper and said, write down everything you want in your life, and you wrote it down, those are your things that are blessings that could be given to you by Hashem. And when you work on Shalom Bayis, it's guaranteed that Hashem will bring more blessing into your home. Again, you may not see every one, if you're walking in the street and you're supposed to trip and fall off the curb or whatever, maybe because of your work on Shalom Bayis, you don't trip, you would never notice that Hashem took care of you that way, but rest assured, he's taking care of you. It's guaranteed. And your children, your grandchildren, great-grandchildren. So Hashem should bench all of you with a Leah and Shalom Bayis, and you should have koyach to have mastery over your anger. And the homework for the week is one time this week when you are feeling completely unable to overcome your anger in the moment, that you have the koyach, that you have the strength to be able to do so. So your homework is to freeze and stop yourself before the anger comes spilling out of your mouth, before the snapping, this heart talking harshly to somebody. Stop yourself one time this week. I know it was last week's homework similar. This is going to take work. Okay, this is Leah Richheimer. We'll see you next time. If you want more, we have so much more. If you want to learn our Masorah and have an awesome marriage, the first thing we have is a coaching program. If you are awesome with people and you want to know the Masorah better than 99% of the people on the planet Earth, like for reals, okay? It's a 4-month program. It's very intense. We have major scholarships, and we have somebody who's granted in a lot to pay for a big bulk of it. It's still a little expensive, but for what you get, and then you can start charging money to know it. That's the coaching program. Don't miss it. Go to www.ladiestalkshow.com. We do retreats. We do all kinds of stuff. You'll find it there. www.ladiestalkshow.com. Thanks for being with us. Leah Richheimer for the Ladies Talk Show.